Vivarium was one of those movies that I've been really interested in checking out since I heard all about it. Stars Jesse Eisenberg as Tom and Imogen Poots as Gemma, these two characters who are looking for their first home, and they go to this new build site to check out this house along with this really weird real estate person, and when they get there the houses are all the same in this suburbia that looks remarkably similar. Everything is identical. It's laid out exactly the same as the house before them and the house after them. And they go inside and it's kind of perfect and fun. And as they go out to the back door to have a little look around, the real estate person just disappears. And they find themselves stranded. And every time they try to escape this suburb, they find themselves right back at house number 9. They can't escape it. They're stuck there. They don't know what's going on, but these food packages keep appearing outside their front door. And one day, a package appears with a baby in it that just says, raise the child and you will be released. And there we go with this crazy storyline that feels like an elongated episode of The Twilight Zone. And you get a fascinating thematic between this movie of young house owners being trapped into something that they didn't really want to get themselves into, trying to raise a child when they feel that they don't have that connection of a parent to a child as well. And it's just a genre piece at its heart too. We have these two people that are struggling to come to terms with what have happened with them. Out the blue, they suddenly find themselves in a home with a child, stuck in the loop of doing the same thing day after day. It's the kind of scenario that adults have found themselves in at some point. You know, when you kind of move from one segment of your life into adulthood and all of a sudden you realise every day is becoming similar. Everything just seems to be happening the way it happened to your parents, and you're not really too sure how or why it came like that. Of course, they have this son who seems to grow exponentially in a matter of days. It's up to like a 10-year-old, and then it's adult after that. But there is something exceedingly wrong with this child. There's something very different. The way it mimics its parents. It can open its mouth and repeat the statements that they said in their phrases, in their voice, so similarly. And it adds a whole strangeness and weirdness to it. I really liked Vivarium. I thought Jesse Eisenberg was great, but Imogen Poots was the star of this one. He takes a kind of back step and she becomes more of the forefront character here as they try to come to terms with a strange child and strange situation they're in. And all the way through, you're trying to figure out, why is this happening? Even though the movie kind of states out at the start what is happening with the cuckoo and things like that. You see the movie, I'll explain it to you. You get these strange images of this suburbia, this housing scheme where it has these unreal skies, clouds that are shaped like clouds and not like anything else. The clouds never really seem to move. The sun looks odd. Every single house is the same, but there is no other people around and they can't get access to them. Wherever they leave, they always end up back at their front or back door. They can't seem to escape this world. And it adds a lot of mystery to it. But what I liked most about it was the thematics. The fact of, how do you just end up in a place with a child, with a husband, in a relationship that seems to be fluctuating, being ups and down, with a person that you don't seem to understand anymore, in a life that seems to constantly rotate around not so much you, but your child. It's a fun thematic as well, and I really like how it kind of touches upon it, but it does feel a little bit overlong. It feels a little bit stretched out, and the material isn't there to really warrant the runtime, although it does have some fantastic set pieces. I love a few near the end, which I won't mention because it will just spoil the movie a little bit, but this is one that you really don't want to know too much more than the initial setup before going into it. I think you'll like it if you check it out. It's on video on demand right now, and I personally recommend it. I thought it was worthwhile. It's not great, but it's definitely a fun, good movie. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. If you've seen Vivarium, let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man V Film.